Look, it was obvious Getzey had to go. I wish him well. I want to talk through why the reason behind his firing is not as obvious as you think later in this show. But first things first, there is a dark horse candidate for our offensive coordinator vacancy, and it's fully under the radar until yesterday. No one was even looking at him for the job, not a little bit. We're moving quickly on this, so here it goes. The Bears, they requested an interview with Seahawks offensive coordinator Shane Waldron for our offensive coordinator job per source. With Pete Carroll out, Seattle, their assistants are all now available. And Chicago's moving quickly after making a change. This is great to see. So little about Waldron. I think this may be a great candidate. And once again, he has been under the radar. First off, he has a very solid reputation during the 3 years he's been in Seattle. The last season that Wilson had a truly great season, that's in 2021, and Waldron was in charge. More interesting, I think the most interesting part of what he did in Seattle is his work with Geno Smith. Geno Smith, he was bouncing around the league. No one thought he'd ever be a viable starter. I know I didn't expect him to be. He was a reclamation project at best, a draft bust, right? A draft bust. Can't say the words. And seemingly, he looked like a permanent backup. Under Waldron, look what happened almost out of nowhere. 2022 Pro Bowl, 4,282 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions. Granted, this last year he wasn't at the same level, but he still had over 3,600 yards, 20 scores, and a cut down on interceptions at 9. That is still good progress. What I think, hiring Waldron, this would give us flexibility as we come to a draft decision moving forward, a decision on Justin Fields, a decision on whether we're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. He may be the best choice for Fields if we choose to go that route, partially due to his work with Geno Smith, fixing a project player. I'm thinking this could be our guy. Just no one is talking about him because the retirement of Carroll, that was unexpected. Many had no idea he would even be available. And he's young. He's only 44. But let's look at the coaches he's been under. Carroll, of course, right? Belichick, McVay. Sounds good. He may be the perfect hire. He has the ability to go the reclamation project direction, but also if we go QB, with the number one pick, Williams or May, most likely, he could also be a great candidate to start fresh with and install a dynamic offense. Seattle has been nice to watch. They have been great on offense. Another great selling point. A big knock on keeping Fields is a need to fully relearn our offense. The scheme, it wouldn't be crazy different. It's a similar wide zone system like what's used in LA, Green Bay, San Fran. The fact that we are moving fast is great, though. I think he might check every single one of the boxes. Plus, and this is really nice, someone that has actually called plays successfully before. Pretty please, can we do that? One thing we need to do immediately if we even want to consider hiring him. We need to get Coach Flus an extension and fully commit to him if he's our guy. Let's stop being wishy-washy. Let's stop hedging our bets. A main selling point to joining up will likely be how stable the head coaching position is moving forward. He's going to be bringing in his own staff. He's going to have families that are depending on him. Most of our really good coaches, they are concerned about their staff, and it's more difficult to bring on a staff if you think the coach is a lame duck that you are serving under. So let's move past that. We have a rising team. I fully believe that. We have a roster that's going to get filled in, going quarterback in the draft. It's fully on the table. Waldron, he could be in a situation that he can start fresh with a quarterback that he believes in, whether that's Fields or a dynamic rookie. That's yet to be known. But also, this guy, he has head coaching aspirations. He's got to. What better launching pad is there? What better launching pad is there than finally turning around things offensively in Chicago? A high profile, a big media market team. That's what we are with a loyal fan base. I think we're proof of that. And we're starving for a winner. If he can be a part of turning our offense around, he won't have to buy a steak in Chicago for the rest of his life, and it'll be the best launching pad towards a head coaching position that he could possibly have. It feels like a win-win here, doesn't it? It's a choice that can pivot right along with our decision at quarterback and in the draft. We'll also walk through other candidates like Greg Roman, Frank Reich, Bieniemy, Bevel, Kubrick. You guys have Kubiak, excuse me. You guys have given a lot of suggestions of guys that you'd like to hear talked about. But since the Bears are trying to move quickly here, I really wanted to get this out here. So, as promised, let's examine what really might have been the reason behind Getsy's firing. Let's be clear on how Getsy came to the team, first of all. This is kind of important if you're one of the people laying the whole Getsy failure thing at the feet of Ryan Poles and Coach Flus. I'm not going to fully defend him. That's not why I'm doing this, but it's important as far as perspective moving forward. The Athletic brought this up. I'm just going to touch base on it. Little known fact, Ryan Poles and Coach Flus, they were officially introduced on January 31st, 2022. Before this date, Luke Getsy had already been hired as offensive coordinator. This happened before. It seemed like Getsy, he was the top priority hire within this regime. At the time, Coach Flus, he said he had been on my radar for a while. A big selling point was that he's from the Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay coaching tree due to being under LaFleur at Green Bay. That was a big selling point. Flus also talked about something. He talked about how he liked Getsy's toughness, his ability to be innovative, labeled him as a team guy, also his efficiency, glowing reviews coming onto staff, and he was definitely the top priority hire. Getsy's gone. Granted, he hadn't been a great play caller. We all know that. I can get into it and go on and on and on. I'm going to agree with all the criticism, but it's possible. It's possible that he was a scapegoat firing. We needed a scapegoat. Is it perhaps more of an indictment on Fields, though, and his lack of a development into an elite quarterback? We have to examine that. And to cover this up, was Getsy fired because a scapegoat was needed, and this is a signal that a quarterback change, it's coming. Maybe Getsy had a good scheme. Maybe it's Fields that didn't rise to the occasion. I'm just raising this question. I'm doing it in neutrality, but I'm raising this question. I'm typically on Team Fields. You guys that have been watching, you guys know that. I've been there for a while. I'm fully a continuity guy, even at quarterback position. But you know what? I think it's vitally important not only for me to examine this, but for us to walk through this from a different perspective. So let's chop it up a little bit. The actual numbers. Are you ready? Third season, he did not become even a top 10 quarterback. It was his second year in the system with Getsy, calling plays as well. It's in a good amount of measurements. He wasn't even top 20. So let's look at that. Bottom third in the league in the following: QBR, passer rating, adjusted net yards per attempt, yards per game, completion percentage. All of these were in the bottom third. So what do we do as a team moving forward? We know that we're a team on the rise. We'll have possibly a top 5 defense. I firmly believe that that's true, but I think a change at quarterback, this might be an issue when courting these coordinators. Poles said in his presser that a new offensive coordinator would need to present a plan for Fields and also the quarterbacks available in this upcoming draft, and having that as an integral part of the interview process. Like Poles, I think he is still open to going either way. Either way, Waldron, he fits that description. He fits it. Also, look to see if Coach Flus gets a contract extension in the upcoming week, convincing coordinators that he has staying power beyond 2024. That will be a major factor in attracting a top name to this position. So look for a contract to be done for Flus really quickly if we want a top tier offensive coordinator. I think it's vitally important. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. And hey, bear down. This offseason is going to be great. See ya.